Picture every human being alive on Earth right now. 8 billion people. Every country. Every city. Every face you've ever seen on a street, on a screen, in a crowd. Now picture all of that, every single one of us, fitting inside one football stadium. That actually happened. 74,000 years ago, that was the entire human race. Not a country. Not a tribe. Everyone. And something was coming that wanted to make even that number smaller. How does a species that small survive something that big? That's what this episode is about. Here's something that should stop you cold. The people facing what was about to happen, they looked exactly like you. Same eyes. Same hands. Same brain. Same capacity for fear, for love, for lying awake at night wondering if tomorrow would be okay. They weren't shuffling through the dark. They made tools sharp enough to shave with. They painted things on walls that we still find beautiful today. They buried their dead, which means they already understood that losing someone meant something. They laughed. They taught their children. They told stories around fires. In almost every way that matters, they were already us. So why haven't you heard this story before? Because what was about to happen was so catastrophic, and the evidence buried so deep, that scientists only pieced it together in the last few decades. And when they did, they couldn't quite believe what they were seeing. It started on a beautiful island. Beneath it, something had been building pressure for hundreds of thousands of years. Nobody knew. Nobody could know. But here's what almost nobody talks about. It wasn't just an eruption. What came next was a chain reaction that stretched across the entire planet and came within a hair's width of ending the human story before it had really begun. The Toba supervolcano erupted. And I need you to stop picturing what you know about volcanoes. Forget Vesuvius. Forget Mount St. Helens. Those were campfires. Toba was the whole forest burning down. The eruption released so much material that if you spread it evenly across the continental United States, the entire country would disappear under several feet of ash. But wait, how does ash from an island in Indonesia destroy the food supply in Africa? This is where it gets strange. It's not the ash that kills from a distance. It's what the ash does to the sky. The eruption blasted billions of tons of sulfur dioxide into the stratosphere, so high that weather couldn't wash it away. Up there, it transformed into a reflective veil between the earth and the sun. And then the sun got weaker. Not for a week. Not for a month. For years. Temperatures dropped. Forests died. The animals that ate those forests disappeared. Rivers shrank. Entire ecosystems that people had built their lives around collapsed. Now picture being one of those 10,000 people. You don't know what a supervolcano is. You don't have a word for it. You just know that the world you learned to survive in, the one your parents taught you, the one encoded in your memory since childhood, has stopped working. The plants aren't where they're supposed to be. The animals have gone somewhere you don't know. Your children are hungry. Geneticist Lynn Jord at the University of Utah found the evidence of what happened next written inside our DNA, a signature called a genetic bottleneck. The kind of mark that only forms when a species comes so close to extinction that almost nothing recovers. But a small group did survive. Against all of it. And when scientists finally figured out how, it changed what we thought we understood about human beings entirely. So why didn't we disappear? At first glance, it makes no sense. We are not the fastest animals. We are not the strongest. We have no claws. No armor. No shell. A lion can outrun us. A bear can overpower us. A snake can kill us before we even see it. So why did we survive when so much else didn't? The answer is hidden inside a cave on the southern coast of South Africa. Archaeologist Curtis Moran at Arizona State University spent years searching for evidence of what early humans did during the Toba crisis. In 2007, his team found it at a place called Pinnacle Point. Preserved inside the cave for 74,000 years, the remains of shellfish, mussels, oysters, snails. It sounds almost too simple, right? But think about what a shellfish actually is. It's a package of protein and fat that doesn't run, doesn't hide, doesn't migrate when the forests die. It just sits on the rocks and waits. And the coastline, unlike the interior, stayed productive even as the volcanic winter strangled everything else. They found a food source the volcano couldn't reach. But why did these people think to look when others didn't? Because inside that same cave, Moran's team found something else. Something that stopped them. Ochre pigments used for body decoration. Tiny blade tools that required patience and planning to make. And signs of long-distance trade objects from groups living miles away. These weren't people just trying to eat. They were building networks. Sharing knowledge. Making art in the middle of a catastrophe. Solving problems together faster than the environment could destroy them. Knowledge could travel. One person finds food, the group eats. One person finds a safer path, everyone survives. One person develops a better tool, everyone becomes stronger. Human groups became information networks. And information became a survival technology that no other species had. And here's what I want you to sit with. Every person you know. Every person you've ever seen on a street. Every athlete. Every musician. Every scientist. Every child. Every single one traces their existence back through an unbroken chain of survival. If that chain breaks even once anywhere, at any point, you never exist. I never exist. History never happens. The modern world never begins. And here's the strangest part, because our entire species descended from that one small group, all 8 billion of us are genetically more similar to each other than a single troop of chimpanzees is to itself. We are all, in the most literal possible sense, family. It's easy to see modern humanity as inevitable. Cities everywhere. Technology everywhere. 8 billion people. But none of this was guaranteed. Toba revealed something that would repeat again and again across human history. Humans rarely survive because we are individually powerful. We survive because we solve problems collectively. When the environment changes, we adapt. When resources disappear, we innovate. When everything falls apart, we find each other. That pattern doesn't begin with civilization. It doesn't begin with agriculture or cities or writing. It begins on a dark coastline, 74,000 years ago, with a small group of people eating shellfish and sharing what they knew, waiting for the sky to clear. Toba didn't just test humanity. It built us. Every language ever spoken. Every city ever built. Every song ever written. Every discovery ever made. All of it begins here, with people who refused to disappear when the world went dark. We are not the descendants of the strongest. We are the descendants of the ones who figured out how to work together when everything was falling apart. But Toba was only round one. Because once the skies finally cleared, that same small group did something even more extraordinary. They walked out of Africa into a world they had never seen, frozen, hostile, and waiting. And the catastrophe they found there was colder, and stranger, and in some ways even more impossible to survive. That's the next episode.